Here we go. Perfect timing. All right. Okay. Did Donald make it in? Well, there you go. Yay. Can you
Yeah,
hear us?
I never got your email.
Oh.
So I just went into my old and looked it up.
I
That's
just,
all right.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, that's okay. Not to worry.
We'll figure it out. Okay. Well, here we go. So
Where are we?
we just are starting. So okay. Everyone, someone will just have to tell me out loud. My screen is super big again now, right?
It's good.
Good. Perfect. Okay. Okay. So here we are on week 3. And here's our next 5 letters. So we have vet right here and cuff right here. And then het right here. And of course, next is Bob, as you can read, and final noon. Okay, so we are actually getting to some strange letters now, and we'll talk about it more. The bet right here is, if some of you know that a lot of times people say bet/vet, and that's because the bet that we're going to talk about today is very similar to vet. Also, this is cough, and we're learning the first one, cough, and this is the same thing. These have what we call look-alike letters. So these, even though they're very close to looking alike, these actually have twins, and we will talk about the twins later. And then today, we're getting to everyone's favorite Hebrew letter, which is het, or chala, how we say chala. So everyone loves learning to say this one. And then we have now a set of false twins. We have vav, which we know is our vowel holder, as well as a letter. And then we have our final noon, and we'll talk about that. Then, of course, we're adding some more vowels. So we're adding our EH. We're adding our Sheva again. We're talking about what else Sheva does. And then we're adding some another vowel, an oo sound. Okay. Okay, we're just going to review letters from last week super quick. So we learned Rush last week. And those of you who didn't learn Rush last week, that's okay. You can go back and review it. It's on YouTube. And then we have Lamed, Dalet, Shin, final Mem. And then we have our A words, are like eggs in a basket. That's what we call it. We have our olam, which is our O, overhead vowel. And then we have olam vav, which is our other overhead vowel. Does anybody have any questions from lesson 2 that you wanted to ask me quick? Or are we set to go forward?
I have a question only in relation to the slide this week.
Okay.
Yeah, the vowel, the triangle, the 3-dot triangle.
Yeah.
That's EH.
Correct.
Eh. We say eh.
Yeah.
Okay, because you said A, and I heard A, and
okay.
It's eh.
Okay, so one of the things that you actually caught is if you're around anyone who's Ashkenaz or speaks older type European type of Hebrew, not the new modern Sephardi, you will sometimes catch them saying more of an instead of an and you caught it. And so once in a while, if I'm not paying attention, even though I usually pronounce Sephardi, sometimes that comes out a little bit different. But yes, that is clearly now an E. So
it's a what? Because I've heard 3 different ways now. So what is it, Madison?
It's an E sound. So it's like egg,
It's an S sound to me.
EH, right?
Eh.
I mean, it sounds like you're pronouncing it correctly.
Okay.
So let me try to explain it more as we go on. So that's
Right.
goal.
That's fine. We don't need to belabor it, but I thought I heard you say A, and that confused me.
No, and it should confuse you because sometimes that's what I'm getting at. Sometimes people used to say that more as an AH instead of an EH.
Okay.
So you may hear that. So that's a great point to bring up.
So
Okay,
it's sort of when you discuss it with something, or
yeah, and that's the thing. So it is a Segol. This one is called the Segol, and we want to make sure when you think of Segol, it's SEGOL. So it's a goal, if that helps. So, but you will go to New York, and someone will say a consonant with that in that, and you will think that they're giving you a patak or a hatak patak because you swear that you're hearing A. So that was actually really great. So, okay. So lesson 1, let's just review really quick. We have mem, tav, hey, aleph, and nun. So, and then we had our E vowels, our EE vowels or EI vowels, and our hieroglyphs. And then, of course, we had the Sheva. And the first week we talked about the Sheva as being very short. And this week we're only going to talk about the Sheva as a syllable marker. So, and then, of course, the first week we talked about all our commands. So, there we go. Okay, so this week we have our new letters. Okay, so this first one is bet. And you notice in the middle of the bet, we have what is called the dagesh again. That's kind of popping up. And that's just when you see, and we talk about lookalike letters, that dot means something. And then we have our kaf, and then it also has a dot in it. And then we have our het, and then our vav, and our final nun. So one of the things, if you were writing in paper and you were writing these words on a line, the vav would fit in the line. Do you see how the vav is the same size as all the other letters? But this final nun dips down. And that is one of the ways that you can tell whether the final nun is a nun or it's a vav or it's a something else. Okay. And we'll talk about that more, but it's easy to see it right here. It's almost a full fingertip longer than the vav. Okay.
can you put on the slide that has the names of those letters?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, because I want to write that in. Okay.
Here's final nun,
Bet,
and there's the vav.
kaf,
Okay.
het, pav, and
And then while you're writing that down, the thing about the final nun again is just like the other finals. It happens at the end of the word again. So it's not necessarily at the end of a sentence or at the end of a phrase, just at the end of a word when you need an N, it's there. Ready to go forward?
I'm good. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Okay, so here we have is bet. It looks like that, and it has our little dagesh in the middle. Okay. Ways to remember bet. Okay, one of the ways that people remember bet is it has this little dagesh in the middle or a ball inside. So I'm not sure how else. Sometimes, it looks like resh with a small resh with a line, or it looks like a yod with a line. I'm not sure how else to explain it, but that's one of the ways to remember it. It's in
Yeah, what I'm doing with it is the little piece that sticks out is a tail, and I'll remember it because the T in bet.
very perfect. There you go. And then the other thing is, it's very important to look for this dagesh here, because if there is no dot in this letter, it is a different letter. Okay. So with a few letters, if there's no dot, it means something different. And this is one of those. No dot, different letter. Okay? So make sure you mark that down. I should have probably put that someplace. Okay, here's our cough. Cough is another letter that has a twin or a lookalike. And cough is the same way. If there is no dot in this letter, it is a different letter. So this is cough. And one of the ways to remember cough is like the kids say that if you put up your hand, it looks like a C. So like, you know how a hard C makes the K sound too? It makes that. Or you're coughing out the ball. The cough is coughing out the ball in the middle. But in order for it to be cough, the hard K, it needs a dot in the middle. It needs the dagesh. Okay? Okay, het. So het is our house, okay? And het has no hole. So if you remember what the hay had, it had a hole right here. There's no hole in het. Het is all complete. So some of the ways people have told me they can remember het is that if anyone's ever braided hulla, you could braid the hulla. These side things would be the hulla braids. Someone has said, or we've said in the past, okay, when the door to the house is closed, it's hulla time. I don't know if that helps. Or hallelujah, it's hulla time. Meaning if it's open, then it's an H. If it's closed, it's a het. So I don't know if any of those help you, but that's a couple things about het. Het looks like a hay, but the difference is that there is no hole in this.
There is no what?
There's no hole in this side wall here. It's completely straight.
Can you find the other easily?
That's your. See, hold on. I don't want to make anyone dizzy. Here's hay right here.
Ah,
It has
gotcha.
hole in it.
Yep.
And
Thank
then you're welcome. And then that's why I keep all the slides together. So please don't worry about having to go back. I just don't want to make anyone dizzy by going back too fast. Okay, so here's Vav. Okay, Vav is a very important letter because you use it so much, and it's because it's in front of a lot of letters too. So our words, sorry, it's in front of a lot of words as well. And so Vav, as we said, fits into the lines. If you were writing a word on a line paper, it would actually fit into the line. It is not the one that falls out. The only ways that I can tell you to remember Vav is some people think like, okay, maybe it's a violin where this big part here is the violin and then here's the neck where you hold it. And some people just know it as a vowel holder. So I'm not sure. Like I said, some don't have really catchy ways to remember them, but this is Vav. Okay, and this is final noon. So you can see, even on my paper, the final noon, or on this slide, the final noon's all the way to the bottom. It's very long, and it extends underneath the line. And the only way I can tell you, let's see if it's there, is remember how I told you when you had noon, it was bent? The regular noon was bent like a nun praying. In fact, I'm going to go up, if you don't mind. I'm going to go up, sorry. Right to the top. Noon. Do you remember up here is noon? So here's the thing, but it's like she's bent over praying, if you think of a nun praying on her knees. Okay. It's like final noon is basically taking this tail or the knee part and straightening up. It's like the person straightened up. See, so it's like, so all they did was unbend it right here and the person straightened up. And that's the only way that I can have you remember it. I mean, I can tell you nothing, but it doesn't even look like nothing here. There's not much I can tell you. on how to remember final noon. It's kind of plain. Okay. Okay. So week 1 letters again. Can everyone tell me together? Let's read these letters. Starting from the right.
Mem,
Yeah. Mem.
Tav,
Yeah.
Ach, Aleph,
Aleph. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. And then the last one.
Nun, Nun,
Okay. There you go. Okay. Week 2 letters.
Resh,
Yeah.
Lamed,
Dalit.
Dalet,
Yeah.
Shin,
Yeah.
and
And then final mem.
Final what?
Final mem.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
That's okay. You're fine. You're not that behind. And just so you know, the final letters are not easy to remember. They're not intuitive. Even sometimes now, I think, oh geez, like, is this a this, or like, is this a final? Okay, this is a good example. Let's look on the left side of the page here. Here in script or block print that we use, I mean, it's very not so easy to tell the difference between a final mem and a vav. They look pretty close. The other thing I didn't say is, if you notice on this final noon here, it does have a little bit of a dent in it, whereas vav is really more straight. So right back here, there's a tiny little dent. But here's our different styles again. And our first letter is vet, right, with the dagesh in it. And here's our kaf, which the dagesh is there. Our het, our vav, and our final noon. And then, of course, here's your different printing styles. Here's vet up here. Here is kaf up here. Down here is your hets. Your vavs are down here. And also down here is your final noon. And you can tell when you look between your vav and your final noon, like, look at the block for final noon right here, and look at the block for vav right here. Are you even able to tell a difference? Hardly.
no.
And
One's
that's
just a little bit longer, or maybe a little bigger.
yeah. And the same thing with the cursive. With the cursive, like, you can't even tell a difference between these two. So basically, the only way you're going to tell a difference with the final noon is when you know the word is an N. That's how really you're going to know. And I hate to tell you that, but that's just one of the facts of Hebrew. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Here's our bet. And excuse my dageshes. Like I said, it's hard to get these balls. I have to make these dageshes individually. So here's our first letter again. So what is this letter again?
Bet?
Right, yeah. And what's this?
Okay. No, sorry. Cat. Cough.
Yeah. And then the next one is
Het.
pet, yeah. And then
Shin.
Oh, wait a minute. That's shin.
chin, yeah.
And that's your final
You
nun.
started off with the same 3, and then you changed. You mix something in. Yeah.
So here we have again. Now, the one thing I want to tell you, if you notice down here, there is no dagesh in these little ones, okay? When you get used to reading Hebrew, sometimes when they're using typewriter script, you may see a word and it may be a bet or a vet, and there may be no dagesh in it. So I just want to warn you that sometimes, especially in modern Hebrew, they don't always specify with dageshes either. So you just kind of sort of know the word. So they don't make it easy on us. Okay. Okay, so here's our first drill. So everyone together, we always start from the right and go to the left. And that's one of the things when I was looking at everyone's test, I just want to make sure that everyone understands that no matter whether you're reading or writing Hebrew, you will always start from the right and go to the left, which is why I find, again, that writing Hebrew as an adult in cursive can be challenging, just because we're not used to writing in cursive from the right to the left. If you have been training yourself to connect letters left to right, going backwards with no connections, seems like you're writing with your left hand. It's just a strange thing. So right to left always in Hebrew, whether we're reading or writing. So let's start together. Ready? Line 1.
Bet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Where are you? Where are you? At the top?
One. Bet.
Joel bet.
Yep. Bet.
Bet,
Bet.
bet,
Bet.
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 And just so you know, the reason why I do this, because I know you're not kindergartners, the reason why I do this is because when I was studying neuropsychology, we found out that if you're moving your mouse or if you're moving your finger, you're saying it out loud and you're hearing it, you actually activate all the 3 areas of your brain that help you encode information faster. Otherwise, I know you're adults. You wouldn't need to do this. It's just a thing to help your brain learn better.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go. Line 2. Ready? Everyone together?
A cough.
Cough,
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 cough.
Good. Okay. Line 3. Here we go.
Chet.
yes,
Pet. Yep.
Pet.
Pet.
pet,
Pet,
Pet.
pet,
Pet.
pet, pet.
Okay.
pet.
So I don't think I told you. I think I told you I told my other Hebrew class on Sunday. I was actually at a conference and I was talking with some people and we were explaining what we do. And I was explaining that I teach Hebrew and I had just changed my braces out. And so the first few days of my new braces, it's really hard for me to say chet. My teeth and my tongue get stuck. So I said chet, not very good. And everyone at the table turned to me and said, it's chet, it's chet. So I want to make sure that you really get to the back of your throat and kind of, if you touch the sides of your throat and you just, where you can kind of feel it move a little, chet. So you really want to make sure you get that. And some people are more chet-ish than others. And honestly, if you just say chet, people will know what you mean. But if someone who does not speak Hebrew sees the word hala, they will say chala. And so in order to make sure that you really don't fall into that trap, I think in the beginning, that's especially when it's important to make sure you're getting that cut sound. So when you see the CH in transliteration, you don't default back to the chala. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think, but Madison, so many of us use the word holla, as from childhood. So I don't think we ever treated it as a Hebrew word with Hebrew spelling. It was
Right.
just the name of the special bread.
Right. But now when you see it written and you see CH, you know it's chala. So when you see it now, you can connect the spelling with the correct pronunciation. Does that make sense? Okay.
I just sort of know it.
Right. You do sort of know it, but now you got to know why you say it that way.
Okay.
So, and you don't want to get into a room of people and be teased because your challah wasn't challah enough. So anyway, did we do het or do we need to do het now?
What
Yeah.
was your question?
We just did it.
That's what I thought. Thank you guys. Okay. Can you tell which is this line 4? What are we doing on line 4?
That's
Bob.
Bob.
Love.
Bob, good. Okay, let's go do our Bobs now.
Vav, vav, vav,
Love,
vav.
love,
Bob.
love, love.
Okay, great. And now this one is ready.
Final nun.
Final noon,
Final noon.
Final noon.
final noon, final noon,
Noon.
final noon.
Okay. Now you'll notice I'm mixing it up again. Okay. So ready? Let's start at line 1. Here we go. Ready?
Bet.
Bet,
Bet, bet, bet.
Bet.
bet,
Top.
tough,
Tough,
Top.
tough,
Great. Okay. Line 2.
Cuff.
tough,
huff,
Mem.
mem,
mem, cough,
Mem.
mem,
Cough.
cough,
Okay, line 3.
Hot.
hop,
Het.
Pet.
Pet.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey. Yeah.
Heck.
hey,
Hey.
Heck.
Good job. Okay. And so when you see them together, it's a lot easier to see the difference, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Line 4. Ready?
lamed,
Lamed.
And
Vav.
Vav.
lamed,
Lamed.
vav,
Vav.
and lamed.
Lamed.
Okay, line 5.
Final note.
final nun, shin,
Shin.
Shin,
final
final
nun,
Nun.
oh,
Dalet.
Dalet.
daled,
Olive.
and
Olive.
olive.
Perfect. All right. Okay. Here we go. And this one has the letters that I think are easier to read. And we mixed up some more stuff. So ready? Line 1.
Bet,
that's bad.
Het. Het.
te,
Yeah.
vov,
Of.
Bet.
te,
Bed.
And that's
Final
that's the final nun.
nun.
That's final. Okay, ready? Line 2.
Tav.
tav,
Cough.
pach,
Yes.
Mem.
Final mem.
mem,
Final mem. Yes.
cough,
Cough.
Tav.
and ta.
Yeah.
Het.
Het,
Pet. Yeah. Pet.
Lamed,
Lamed.
Yeah.
tet,
and
Heck.
shin,
shin,
Shin.
and
and tet.
Heck.
This is het, and this is het, and this is het. So I wasn't sure if I got it, and I just didn't hear it right because of the microphone. But I just want to make sure that we are saying,
Tav.
yep, tav and het. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Line 4.
Vov,
Vav.
lamed,
Lamed.
resh,
oh,
Vav.
vov, and
Nun.
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 Perfect.
Resh,
Resh. Dalet.
dalet,
Yeah.
Final
final
nun.
nun,
Yeah.
olive,
aleph, final nun.
Nun.
Okay. Great. Okay. So really quick, again, the vowels are always placed in groups. We have A's, E's, E, O, U, and A groups. Okay. And again, the A vowels will always have a horizontal line in them, and they will always be under the letter. Okay.
they will be under the what?
They'll always be under the letter.
Okay,
You have a letter shin, right? You'll find the vowel, an A vowel will be underneath it. If it has a line underneath it, you know it's an A vowel. Okay, the A vowels, we're going to talk more about the stacked dots and the rule, but A vowels will be a series of stacked dots. So if there's dots and it's got something on top of it, chances are it's going to be an eh vowel, okay? And we'll talk about that rule. And the EE vowels are series of dots. So nothing's on top. There's just 2 dots next to each other. Okay. And then the O vowels are what I call the overhead vowels. Those are the O no vowels, or the O I'm in trouble vowels, because you're covering your head. So, okay. So again, like I said, here's the eh vowels right here. It's a series of stacked dots. So you see dots on top, dots on the bottom. And so you know that it's already going to be an eh vowel, because it's a series of stacked dots. Okay, the A vowels, like I said, if we have the letter shin here, it has the bar, okay? And the EE, the same way, it's just a dot or a series of dots, okay? So most vowel marks are found below the letter. That is a rule, but not all, okay? Some vowel letter holders do not make a sound ever, and some vowel letter holders do make a sound. And Vav today is one of them. Vav has its own consonant sound, and sometimes it just holds a letter. Okay.
Madison, I have a question.
Sure.
Go back the previous slide,
Okay.
please.
That one.
Okay, the A vowels, AY vowels.
Mhm.
You didn't show anything about that, and that goes back to my previous question about today's slide with the vowels on it.
Okay. So
Because-
AY we have not learned yet.
Okay, but okay, so I guess we're going to get that. And that goes back to my earlier question that prolonged all of this about eh. Because on today's slide with the consonants and the vowels,
Here we go.
you have the 2 dots horizontally.
Almost there. Okay. These right here or these right here?
Those right there. And underneath it says EH.
Yep.
But that's the same as the 2 dots with the 1 dot underneath it. So I found that confusing because those make a different sound.
Yeah, because I totally get that. Okay. Yeah. Let's go there and then let's see if we unconfuse you. And if you're not, then I'll help you. Okay.
No, I just wondered why it says EH for these and EH for the other ones, because that's what I find confusing.
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, let me explain it. Let me get back. Good. We're gonna get to that. Hold on. Let me have something to show you. I'll show you. Okay, hold on.
Sorry for getting everybody out of order. And
Wow, all these questions are very good.
So here we go. Let me get to where we're at without making anyone sick. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me just read. We're not going to do this whole slide, but you guys remember the hatak patak, the patak, and the kamas. And so this is a short ma, right? And this is a super short ta, right? And then this is the long going to the dentist, right? Everyone's pretty good with the pataks and the kamatsas, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. Okay.
they all make the same sound, and that's all I'm worried about.
Yes, correct. It doesn't, and you know what? Even when there's different rules, these really stay the same. All it is eventually you'll get a hang on how long the A should be. But these have very little, if ever. I can't even think a rule that would change any of these vowels. So these are the easy ones. I agree. Okay. So E vowels are the EI vowels. Okay. Is everyone pretty clear with these? Like we have me, or we have me, right? Or we have a super short me, which we learned is very rare. So does anybody have any questions about the EE vowels?
No.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back to the pages because I've pretty much forgotten
Okay.
the words of wisdom.
Okay. So again, the thing with the EE vowels, though, they're like the A vowels, is the fact that it's really honestly, except for this pink Sheva, which sometimes you don't speak it at all, they're E vowels. These don't do much anything. They're 1 dot or a dot and a yod, and they don't change. There's no rules that say if you do this, it changes to this. It's just pretty standard, which is why we learned those first. Okay. Now, okay. Linda.
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember how I showed you that this is a setup? We have the 3-2-5 rule, and this had 2 vowels, 2 dots right here, just like the one that I had AH under, right?
Yes.
And I told you that some people in the Ashkenaz have more of an A to this. Like it used to be like a more of an AY or an AH sound, right? Okay. Well, when you go further, let me skip really quick. Too far. Okay. When you go to here, Sari, okay? Sari can be like in get, or like in 8, okay? But it used to be more A and A like they. So it used to be pronounced almost the same because these 2 dots, like if I took this bottom dot out, it kind of do you see these 2 are the same?
Yes.
When you added this dot, it just meant make it shorter. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
Okay. It's completely different rules than I learned centuries ago because the 3 dots were the 2 dots were a.
Yes, yes. And that's because now we're moving forward to Sephardi. The difference between this is absolutely that. So I'm going to go backwards now, but I wanted to show you that picture. There.
Okay.
Okay, so I think so. We have the sigol here, which is the like the e in bed, and then of course everyone's pretty clear with this, right? Meh, like meh, ha, nah, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now we learned these last week, the olam and the olam vav. And the olam is the O and it's overhead. There's a dot overhead. In fact, there's an O right overhead. And then olam vav is just a dot. And there would be a letter in this box, right? And the vav would hold the letter. So remember, if this was a mem, it would be mo. Right. Excuse me, it'd be mo. Is there any questions about the olam or the olam vav?
No.
They are just O's too. They don't do anything. There's no craziness. You know what I mean? It's just they're O's. There's not a long O. There's not a short O. It's just an O. So that's pretty easy, that one. I don't know why they decided to do this. I actually do know why, but it's goofy right now. But it doesn't mean anything right now. But yes, it's just an O. Okay. And this is so that we have mo, right? And can someone tell me if I had a tav and I added an o, what would it be?
Toe.
Toe.
Okay. And here, if I had a shin and I added an o, it would be?
Show.
No.
Or so.
Okay. It'd be show. S-H, sh,
Show.
o. Yep. Okay. So we have the dot here. Does anyone remember what sound this top dot makes?
E.
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 So what would the first one be?
Me.
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 Okay. And then the second one is?
T.
So yeah. So
Short.
really super short. Today, though, we're going to talk about it in a different way. And then what would this bottom be?
E.
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 E, nice and long. So, and just so you know, I'm not even going to confuse you. I'm not going to say that. Okay, never mind. Okay. Let's do ooh for a minute, okay? Okay. This is called the sharik. And down here you can see it says S-H-U-R-E-Q, or you'll see it S-H-I-R-Q. It just depends. But it's called the sharik, okay? And it's an oo vowel, and it's found in the belly button on the letter vav. So if you think of if the ball comes and hits you in the stomach, what's the sound you're going to make?
Ooh.
Ooh,
Oof.
ooh. And that's what the ooh is. It's like a short, fast. It doesn't have to be too fast. It can be longer too, but it's ooh. If the ball hits you, you're going to go ooh, okay? And sometimes it can be a little bit longer of an ooh. And that's why you see the double O. So if you look down here, okay, it says ooh as in blue, okay? But then it says ooh /OO. And so it's either an ooh or an ooh. Does that make sense?
Can.
Okay. So, there we go. So the EH vowels can be confusing, and you'll learn them as you're learning vocabulary, because this is the problem, exactly what Linda brought up, okay? You have your Sheva, and your Sheva can be the beginning of a syllable marker, okay? And I'm just going to give you a really quick reason on why we have Shevas. Okay, if you think of the English word cat, it's C-A-T, right? Consonant, vowel, consonant, okay? If you have any word, you need to have, usually we try to close the sound. So cat, we don't usually try to have words that go ka, right? It just sounds weird, ka. A Sheva is a way for you to understand when one syllable ends and when you close the other one. And it helps when you add those vowels in, which I don't want to get into that because I'm already confusing you. So it just helps you kind of understand where syllables are ending and where syllables are beginning. And the worst part is you see the syllable marker and it says it's called the begin syllable marker. And it just means that the syllable begins after the word with the Sheva, after the letter with the Sheva in it. So it's not even easy when they say it. Does anyone have a question or should we just roll forward?
Give me an example.
So the Sheva ends a word.
So no, it ends a syllable. Like, let me show you. Okay, here's one. Okay, here's student. Let's look at student right here. Okay.
Okay.
So we have ta, okay, and that's what I told you is an open consonant vowel, right? Ka. So then we know we have to add this L to it. So that's tal, right? Then that closed the syllable and it begins the new syllable. So we know we say tal, okay? Now the beginning of the next syllable would be what here?
Ma.
So it'd
Me.
be M, and then what is this dot here?
E.
Yep. So we have me, and then what is this last letter here? Does anyone remember?
Is that the Vav?
Solid.
That's a dalet. Yep. So what happens is for this word, we read up and down in zigzag. So tal, we have tal, and then the Sheva is saying stop.
It's Talmud.
Tal, need. Right? Tal, need.
Yes.
Because then we start the next syllable here. Does that make sense?
And the word means student,
And the word means student. Yeah.
but
I
it's
think
very
it's
close to Talmud.
Well, that would be a little bit different. Remember, would be your different vowel.
Right. But
It's
but they're so close in meaning.
They're very close, and that I think it's because the Talmud is, and I would have had to look it up before, but it's the basic of a person learning, and the
Right.
student is a person who learns. So, I thought I heard someone say, did someone have a question?
No, I was just going to say it to me, for me, it's a lot easier to understand some of these explanations when I can actually see it in a word.
Yeah.
So I think maybe some of this will make more sense, at least to me, when we start reading words.
Yes, and we're getting there. So, which is why you noticed I have lots of words today because I figured you would get to the point when some of these, and I'm going to try to pick a word that at least illustrates the point. But this was the best one I could find that had all the letters that you knew, you know. So, and so does everyone understand what I mean by a stopper? Sometimes I hold up my fingers to the little kids and I say, okay, this is a stopper vowel. So you can go up to that stop. So tal, that's as far as you can get. And then you got to start over again. Need. Does that make sense?
So it's really a syllable break point.
It is. It's a syllable breaker. But even though it calls itself, this is the part that's strange. Hold on. It calls itself literally in grammar. It is called the beginning syllable marker. It's really not the beginning. It's under the last letter of the previous. Yes. But after that begins the new syllable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm just making sure. So, so when you get to these vowels, okay, EH vowels are always confusing. And they're always confusing because of what we talked about. They can be like a, like they. They could be like, some people will say them a, like a Y we talked about. They can be get, like and get, or eight, a and eight, like we were saying with the they. So the Siri can change, and the Sheva can change as well. We know the Sheva can be just a syllable marker, and the Sheva can actually be a letter or a vowel sound. So EH vowels are the most confusing vowels until we get to diphthongs, and that's not this class. So
Yeah, because they have two purposes, two functions.
and especially with the EH, whether it's the Segol or the Seri, even today, rabbis will tell you with Segol and Seri, one of the reasons why Hebrew reading, especially Torah Hebrew reading, is so apprentice heavy is because there are certain words that no matter how much biblical Hebrew you learn, if you don't have someone tell you what that word is, you won't know what that word is, because the vowel or the combination of the way they do it, you just don't know unless you learn from someone who knows. And it's because some of these vowels are confusing. Okay. Okay, so let's see what we got now. Okay, now this kind of is crazy. Do you guys recognize what I just did here? Across the top?
You've got the vowels in different positions.
I have that's all your vowels that you learned so far. So let's start at the right side and start easy. This would be an ah, right? This is a, does anyone know what this is offhand?
Patak.
Patak, right. And this
I couldn't get what he said.
patak.
Oh, patak.
And then what would this one be?
Harik patak?
Hatak.
Shatak.
Hatak.
Pataf, patak. Good. Okay. And then this one is what?
Kamatz.
Kamatz. You know, one of the ways that sometimes I teach people, and I forgot to tell you guys what a hataf patak is. There's two dots, so if you think 1/2, like a fraction, so you have a full patak here, but you get half of a patak, it's hataf patak. So if you think of it like a fraction, cutting the patak in half, I don't know if that helps you or not. Okay, and then we have this one is what?
Kamatz.
Kamatz. Okay, do you remember this one?
Harik.
Here.
Shirik.
Hirik, yeah. What else?
Shirik.
Hirik long.
So Hirik short, Hirik long. And what's this one?
Syllable breaker.
Yep.
Sheva.
And it's a syllable breaker or Sheva. Yep. As long as you know both of those. It also can be what sound when we do say it.
E.
Yeah, real short, fast E. And I teach you guys it that way because that's the best way to learn it. Later on, we'll calm the E's down, but yes, it's very short and fast. How about this one?
Olam.
Okay, olam, and it's an overhead vowel, right? And what's this one?
Well, that's your
Olam.
isn't that the vav?
Olam.
This
Vav.
was olam, and this was olam vowel. Okay, yeah. And then does anyone know what this is?
Well, you've got your final nun there.
No,
No.
that's a
No, it's an oo.
Sharuk.
sharik. Yep, this is your
Yeah.
sharik, and this is your oo vowel. Okay.
So these are vowels. Okay.
Yep. Up here, that's what I'm saying. I put all your vowels up on a row to make things look really confusing.
So some of the vowels look like letters.
Oh,
Okay.
because remember, these are vowel holders.
So I've got a lot of echo coming through, so I'm not getting your voice clearly, Madison.
So
Yeah.
these vowels right here are vowel holders. And this yod, I'll tell you a little bit about it, but I don't want to confuse you. When you add a yod to a vowel, it's actually a diphthong. It's called a diphthong. And it's like when you say in our language, when we say chewy or gooey, this is the Hebrew version of that. We're just adding an extra Y to get an extra bit of sound. So, okay, so does anyone know what this one is now?
So,
I really forgot.
Someone
Yeah.
else had it. Donald, you've almost had it.
it's a Segal.
Segol.
Perfect. Segol. And then this one is what?
It's here.
There?
Siri.
Yep. And this one is what again?
Shiva. It's a
Sheva.
Shiva.
Okay. So, we're not going to do it tonight, but I'm going to show you how we're going to eventually start to do this. Okay. So this is a what? Say what this is. This is a tav, right? Okay. And then if I point to this, then this is a what? So that means if you put the tav together with this vowel, what do you get?
Oh,
Oh,
Toe.
Toe. Yes. So this is kind of like a vowel drill to help you. So we would say this is a noon, right?
right.
And this is a what now?
No.
No, exactly. This is a mem, and this is a,
Mo.
oh,
Mo.
okay. This is a
Olive.
olive, and this is a,
Ta.
Talk.
It's just
but we'd say ah. Yep, this
Yeah.
is an olive, this is an ah. We're transitioning from identifying it in the slide to starting to read. This is the beginning vowel consonant combination. So this is a what?
hey,
A. And this is a
who?
Geez,
Ooh.
that's a who until I switch the slide and you. That's a who. Okay, so we will work on this. So if you want to practice vowels at home, you can even write the sound if you need it to on the slide. I don't know how it'll print out, but whatever you need. But then you say this is a tav, this is a ta, this is a tav, this is a
E.
T.
yeah, T. You put the sound together. This is a dalit. This is what is this one?
Oh,
Come on. So be da.
Yep. So this is a
Da.
dalit. This is a
oh,
da, right? This is a lamed. This is a
la.
Law.
exactly. That's how the drill goes. This is a sha, or this is a shin. This is a sha. Okay. So we're gonna actually start. This is how we're gonna start building.
Words.
So let me go back to my original question that I'm fixated on.
Okay.
If you picked any letter and you put it in the box with the two horizontal dots, would it be a te or a te?
So right now, I want you to do EH, eh. So you're 10. So this would be meh, te.
All right. And right next to it to the right would also be te, be. Okay.
Yeah. So for today, let's stick with that because you need to know a lot of rules to get it to change, and you do not want those rules today.
Yeah, I just wondered because the explanation had either an like either get, I don't remember, or an a like 8.
8, correct. And we're going to stay with the F for right now until we get to some words that I can show you 8 instead. Okay. I think that's just easier. Because honestly, when you get to the letter, when you get to the point where you say it in another way, you're going to recognize it because you're going to recognize some words. Like a good example is Lois is like, oh, holla. Well, I know holla. Okay. So you're going to get to a word and you're going to be like, it kind of sort of looks like something. And then, oh, it has to be the AY versus the EH because holla wouldn't make sense if it wasn't the same. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You'll know it by the word.
So next to yes, it would be instead of cane, it would be kin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like they do in, is it Scotland or Ireland? They say yes, can and low for yes and no. Okay. So she got the first one perfect. Anyone want to try number 2 again? Except for I didn't change the word, what this means. How did I do that? No. Hold on a second. Sorry. This is not this. Kita is actually not that. I just told you what kita is. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just read it. So sorry, guys. It's kita, but now I forgot what it means because now I'm kind of on the spot because I made a mistake. Okay. Does someone want to read the next one?
Roche.
That's it, Roche. Okay. And how about the next one? The last one, candles. So we start here.
Wrote.
Nerot. Exactly. And Nerot is candles. Okay. This one we know, right?
Shil,
So we have
shalom, shalom.
shalom, right? Okay.
Only because I know the sh and the L. So, oh, the word is there. Oh, gee.
And that's why that's why the Hebrews don't need vowel points, because you kind of just recognize it, and then you just kind of get a couple letters and you're like, oh, it's this. Okay.
Yeah.
Someone want to read this one again?
See, I,
Talmud.
Okay. Talmud, right? Okay. And the next one for wife.
Olive,
Isha.
Yeah, who said that? Isha. That's perfect. Okay. We kind of talked about it. When hey is at the end of a word, what happens to it?
Silent.
Yeah, it doesn't really do anything. It just kind of sits there. Okay.
so you're taking an olive letter and you're using an E sound.
Right, because olive has no sound on its own. It
Ah,
has only the sound of the vowel that you give it.
okay. And that's the word for wife. Isha.
Isha. Yeah. It's ish and isha. Okay, ready? The last one here.
I have to keep looking at my cheat sheet for the letter.
Morah. Yeah, Morah.
Mora. Right, mora. Actually,
Well,
that's
I'm
funny.
sorry.
It's not I am, because for some reason I did change these. So what I did is I did the slide and then I changed the things, and I think my it saved. So does anyone know what mora is? I can tell you that one 100% for sure what that is. Mora is teacher. So
Hey.
people call me Mora Madison when we're in the kids' Hebrew school class, because Mora means teacher.
I have a question, and this might be way ahead of things, but I've been curious. Are there any rules about which syllable gets accented when you're reading Hebrew?
Yeah.
Like in some languages, it's always the penultimate.
Yes. So we're going to learn about the geshes for okay, two easy ways I can tell you now. We're going to learn. One is it's called a double dagesh, and that's a way when you have a longer word to know what to accent. Okay, that's one way. But I'm so busy showing you all these other dageshes that I didn't want to mess you up with the double dagesh. The other way that you know how to accent is by using the Sheva. So, for instance, we have tal, mead. Okay, we know to hit that M because it's the first part of the second syllable, right? So when they sometimes use the syllable breakers, I'm trying to see if I have another word that has a syllable breaker. They're just getting longer now. Let's see.
You know, you really, in a sense, don't need the syllable breaker because the L and the M just flow together.
Yeah. No. So there are some words that you don't. And in fact, I had in my brain a little bit ago, I had a couple words because I actually was doing some other reading, and you use the dagesh for stress, or it doubles. The doubling dagesh stresses it, and this isn't one, but let me show you an example. Sidur. Okay, it's usually when you have two letters together. Sidur, S-I-D-D-U-R would be translate, but the first D would be the first, you have Sid and then Dur. You know how so the doubling dagesh will help you split those. Oh, here.
See, now that I would understand needed the 2 dot, the syllable breaker,
Right.
but.
Yeah, but I understand that. I'm asking, how do you know it's shalom instead of shalom?
Okay. So then the third way to know if there's not a signal, it's knowing how consonants, how the Hebrew language is split. So when we get to real reading, right? So like if we keep going, you guys want to keep going, the next session we'll talk about reading. We'll start really reading a lot of words. Okay. And one of the things you'll learn is that unless it's a prefix, Hebrew always has a consonant, vowel, consonant. There's exceptions to everything. Remember that. And so, for instance, so shalom, you know, shalom is shalom because, okay, so you have your S, your A, and your L. Okay. Well, then you have next. So you always have to do your you have to close the first part, S-A-L. So that's a closed syllable, shal, and then you could finish up what you have left. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't think that we can talk about this another time, but I don't think that's answering my question.
And it may be
At
not.
least to me.
Okay.
So
yeah, there's a couple different ways and it can get really complicated and we'll get into it. I just sometimes I need to think of the best way to teach it where I'm at. And so we'll figure that out.
it might just be a case if you have to know the words, just like in English.
Sometimes you do, but there definitely are some rules. I'm hesitating against giving you guys rules, and I do have some papers that I could send to you actually of some cheat sheet rules. The only thing is when you read them sometimes too early, they really sound like gibberish. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, then don't. I was just, as I read through these,
Right.
I never know if I'm pronouncing the word. I never know if I'm putting the accent in the right place. That's all.
And I guess at this stage, I'm saying I would rather have you more take a shot at least trying the word, and then seeing what happens. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine.
yeah, I know it's terrible. Hold on. Let's see. Stop sharing there. Okay, stop sharing that window. Okay, we are over today. So I didn't necessarily want to go here see, and do much because I don't want to keep you too late. Unless everybody wants to keep it. I just want to go here one quick time. Again, we're going to go to 8th. Okay, so hopefully I'm not making. I'll be there in a second.
Somebody is talking, but I'm not getting what they're saying.
Oh, I'm mumbling because I'm trying to scroll through this document to share it.
Oh, okay.
I'm-
Okay, good.
That's me mumbling. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right.
Trying to get you to some words here. I just want to show you just something so you know what to do. Okay. So everyone can see the Rishit Bina book that we have, the one that I gave to you. And you see I'm at lesson 10, right? Everyone can see this paper?
Yes.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't forget that you can, if you get a chance, you can go into here and pick out what we have looked at. Like we did the O, and here's the O. And we just learned B. So here's bow. And bow in Hebrew means go. So there's B and O. Now, next to it is the lookalike letter. And I'll give you a hint. That's V. So it's bow. And we have mo and mo. So, but when you go down a little bit, like if we go down to line, okay, line 5, okay, we have a word that sort of looks like what we had said, but it's a teeny bit different, right? Can anyone read the first word in that line 5?
Mirit?
More.
Mora. Yeah. So instead of mora, it's more. Okay. So I'm not sure where you were reading, Donald. I'm sorry. Were you there or
Yeah.
oh,
No,
okay.
I'm here.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were on a different line or if it was too small or if I was confusing. Okay. Okay. So Mora is the male teacher and Mora is the female teacher. Okay. And then we have, here's another one of those syllable breakers down here. She said. So we have right? We have the and then the okay? And then we have, what's the last of it? So ra.
Amra.
Yeah. So she said. Okay. But I would encourage you if you have okay, let me show you one example. Right here we see Deborah, right? Okay. Or Deborah. Okay. This is one of those where I'm explaining as we get going, you will definitely kind of sort of sound it out weird and then figure out what it is. So we have a D here with the syllable breaker, right? So we know we're going to do a D all by itself, okay? So D, and then we have our vet, which we haven't learned, but it's close to vet. So vo, ra, okay? Devo, ra. So when you look at this word, you could be da, or ra. Once you keep working at it, you can kind of get it. Does that make sense or not?
Yes.
10.
Okay. And that's all I'm saying is sometimes if you want to take a stab at these, you might not totally get it, but you're close enough in the ballpark that if someone's reading with you, they'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, this is Deborah. So notice how some people will say it's Deborah written in the Torah, but we say Deborah. So,
Well, it's also a different spelling.
right, because in the Torah, in the beginning, the reason why bet and bet are the same letter is because a lot of times the B and the V are very indistinguishable. So, and we'll go into that later. So, but here's your final mem, like I said. So going through here and looking at some of these, don't do the big lines. You need to stick like line 6 and 7 and above. Do you know what I mean when you're doing the reviews? Because once you get into the huge ones, it may be a little bit challenging. But just don't, like this is la, lo, right? We. This is the kind of exercise that will make you more fluent. Okay.
Oh, good.
Does that make sense? Or is that more confusing?
We'll see.
Okay.
Madison,
Yeah.
what was the name of that document?
Okay. This document is called, as I make you dizzy, hold on. It's the Rashith Binah, and I'll actually show you where it is in just a minute. Let's see. Stop. Let me go back to here and find you guys. Okay. And then, okay, you go into, give you a window. Okay. I'll show you how I find it. So, once I get into here. Okay. So I go into, I just see the message that your email wasn't delivered, Donald. I must have typed it wrong. Okay, you can see this screen, right? You go into the Hebrew school and you go down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, And when you get to February 13th, there's a link right there.
Oh, okay. I wasn't looking. I was looking for a document. Okay.
Now, and then you download it as many times as you don't have to download it.
Okay.
I just go ahead and hit the PDF like here, 9 times now. So this is what's going to make you fluent faster. And if we were not online, we would do more of this. The reason why I don't do more of this is, I can, when you do say, I still have you do it together, because even though it doesn't all come on my side exactly in time, it's enough that I can kind of hear pretty close. So, but if we were in class, we would definitely be doing ba, 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 and then getting down and going ba, ba, because those are the beginning words and the beginning letter formations. I find, though, it's very challenging to do that online unless you have one person go through and read at a time. And I don't know if you know how painful that is for the person reading and for the persons that listen. You'd rather watch me run. So that's why I don't do it in class. But I can't tell you how important how fast you can progress if you do these exercises. And in fact, I can tell you that I have my kids in Hebrew school do speed drills just like you're learning, because it's super important, and they are learning to read bigger words, but they really have to get good at I lost you guys. Hold on, sorry. There we go. They have to really get good at being able to do it fast and really seeing it. So that's why I'm telling you, don't do the alphabet, don't do whatever, do your flashcards or just look at the letters, go your drills, because when you get a word in front of you, it's easier. You don't have to go back and remember or look up what the letter is and what the vowel is. Do you know what I mean? You can just start putting it together. Now, you don't have to have that competency yet. So don't think that, oh my goodness, I have to have it now. But between now and when we start whatever next class we want to do after this, if people are still interested, it will go faster if we can, if we're really good at recognizing that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. So, does anybody have any other questions specifically? Now, I have good news. I think the recording worked. So,
What works?
I recorded this class. I actually remembered to put record. Nobody bumped my computer. It didn't get shut off. Nobody tried to get in, so it didn't hang up. So if everything goes well by tomorrow morning, this class will be posted on YouTube. So, or in the morning, I'll post it on YouTube. So if you want to redo it, you can.
So this means that everybody can hear me belaboring the vowel question ad nauseum.
Okay.
Yes, wonderful.
That is good. Now, but you have to remember, on our YouTube channel, we currently have 1 subscriber, which is me. I think maybe 2 subscribers, right? And we've had a total of 5 views. So, like, the people that are watching it are only the people in this class.
I know, but still, all of you are going to think what a pain in the rear end
No,
she is.
Believe me, we learn from everybody else's comments.
Yeah, we
And
do.
I'm one of the ones who watches the recordings, and probably all the rest of us are too.
And so I do have to let you know, one of the challenges that I have, not only because my brain is, at 8 o'clock at night, but it's because I noticed this in the Hebrew school class. I did it last week. When I teach kids, you have to teach a certain way and you have to end at a certain level, right? And I was telling them, oh, this is this. And that's something I should have told you guys because they're too little. They don't care about the Sheva. The Sheva is the stopper vowel. That's all they need to know, right? This is the 2 fingers, you stop. Where you guys need to know more. Or I'm saying, oh, it's this. And then the mom's like, no, it's this. And I'm like, well, advanced Hebrew with this. But yeah, I get it's not this. So I do have to say I do that sometimes, so I apologize. So, and like I said, I've never professed to be the best Hebrew school teacher in the world. I'm still learning, but at least I try. And then we're going, and I can definitely refresh myself, my memory as we go. But I definitely want to keep it compartmentalized to the primer here, and then not get too advanced, because when you start to get in the weeds with some of these rules, whoa, you can really get in the weeds with some of these rules. So we will get there, but I don't want to get too far ahead with that. But that being said, I do have, I think I do have I have the 2-page rule sheet for you guys. Yeah, it is, so I have a 2-page rule sheet, not that you can read it, but it talks about, there's my camera. It talks about open syllables and closed syllables. So it's not too big. And I'm just kind of showing you in general, and dividing words and stuff. So dividing words into consonants. So it's not too big. I can scan it and post it in if you're curious. It talks about the consonant clusters. It talks about all that stuff. And then when we get to the end, if you want me to get into that more, I can. But as you saw this week, you're going to get more words. You're also going to start to get more words too.
Sure.
So, okay. Is everybody in a good spot?
So you're going to scan
Yes.
those 2 pages in?
Yes. And I'll post them on the classroom.
Okay.
Okay. And then I will, okay. I'll tell you what, Donald, if you, here, let me, hold on one second. Let me.
I need to,
Sure, go ahead. You can talk.
I need to get to another program. So
We're,
I'll bow out,
yep, that's fine. I am trying to stop the recording.
but I'll get to see whatever it is you're doing. Okay.
All I'm doing is I wanted to double check with Donald on one thing, and then just make sure that Danielle was all set. But I wanted to stop the recording.